Sam's a big, strong dog. He was a strong puller. And these are the two products I would look at first for pulling. So the Gentle Leader head collar and the Ruffwear front range harness. I use both with Sam, and he's 110 pounds, okay? So he is a big dog. These do not solve pulling, the pulling problem in the same way. The head collar obviously works mostly through turning the head, okay? The harness, it turns his body. The question obviously is which one is better for loose leash walking? And the answer is it kind of depends. It depends on the control you need. After using both, and I do use both, I do have clear preferences for certain situations, all right? This is not a scientific laboratory test. I didn't use instruments to determine pull and try 9,500 dogs. I'm not going to tell you that one product is perfect for every dog. And I'm not going to tell you that either one of these is going to train loose leash walking by itself. They don't. They're just things. The training will always come from what you do with your dog. Okay? It's all those really important things like your timing, like your rewards, like your consistency. These change the mechanics of what happens when your dog moves forward. But the thing is, these can make that training possible. They can make your walk safer, they can make it more manageable while you teach these guys the behavior you actually want. So I'm comparing these as practical tools for people with large, powerful dogs. Dogs even bigger than this guy as well. They're not magical solutions, okay? And that matters. The Gentle Leader works mainly through the dog's head. When the dog moves forward, the leash attachment under the muzzle can redirect the head away from the direction of travel. The body tends to follow the head. Your head goes this way, you tend to go that way. So that gives you more leverage over where the dog's going to go. It's like steering. It's the same thing we used for eons with horses. And with a really strong dog, that can be a significant difference. Without the head collar, the dog may be using the entire chest and shoulder area to drive forward. With the Gentle Leader, it becomes just becomes harder for them to keep the straight forward ahead momentum. Will it stop them from pulling? No. You need training for that. But it can reduce the power behind the pull and give you the chance to train. For some people, that's all they would need. And for a large dog, reducing the power behind the pull is not a small thing. And I don't think people say that clearly enough. The Gentle Leader can also help when the dog locks onto something ahead, like another dog, like a rabbit. He's all about the rabbits. A squirrel, a person, or he's also all about the smells. It does not erase the distraction, and it doesn't change how they feel about it, but it can break that fixation. It can help you redirect the head before they're committed to moving forward. So, and the big thing to say here is this redirection, this is not eventually. This is not day by day it gets, no, this is immediately. For lots of people, that immediate change is the reason that this works so well. Okay? So, front pull harness. This is the Ruffwear front range harness, and it works differently. It doesn't control their head, okay? It works through the dog's chest and body. So when the leash is attached at the front, the forward movement that they put into the energy they put in going forward can redirect them back towards you instead of allowing them to drive straight ahead. Dog pulls forward, the attachment changes the angle of that force. The result is usually less direct forward momentum. The dog can still pull, okay? And that's, like, I have to say, the dog can still pull. Harness doesn't automatically, like the head collar, it doesn't automatically create loose leash walking. And some dogs can pull very effectively in a harness. But with a front pull, the advantage is that this one may give you body control without, some people don't want to put something on their dog's face, a harness. So, and it may be more comfortable for some dogs. It may also be easier for some owners to use consistently. Okay, and like the thing that you use is probably the best tool. Consistency matters more than having theoretically the perfect tool sitting at home. So, whichever you choose, the fit really matters. The gentle leader should be fitted so your dog can pant, so they can open their mouth, so they can pick things up with their mouth, they can breathe normally. And like any tool, use it appropriately. It should not be used for harsh corrections or sudden yanking. And if your dog hits the end of the leash at a speed with this on, it'll turn its head fast, and that can be uncomfortable. The harness also needs to be fitted carefully. I particularly worry about shoulders and joints, so check for rubbing around the chest, behind the front legs, around the straps. They need to be snug without being overly tight, and the dog cannot back out of it, so make sure that it's tight enough for that. Make sure that the front attachment you're using is actually designed for leash control. I want to push back on the idea that one product is automatically humane and the other is automatically harmful. For all tools, not just these, that's too simple. A poorly fitted head collar can cause discomfort. A poorly fitted harness can rub, restrict their shoulder movement, or allow them to escape. So yeah, the product matters, but the fit and how you handle your dog, they matter just as much. Here's what I actually did. I used both tools with Sam. Same dog, mostly the same handler, and similar walking environments. And I paid attention to 4 things, okay? I paid attention to how much pulling remained once I started using the tool. I paid attention to how much physical effort I needed, how easy it was to redirect them, and how comfortable the tool was for him, or appeared to be for him. In my experience, the gentle leader gives me the larger reduction in pulling by a lot. If I had to describe it with rough personal estimates, I would say the gentle leader reduces the pulling by 80% for him, right? The front harness, I would say it reduces it by 50%. And okay, they're not laboratory measurements, but they are me walking this dog every day, multiple times a day. And your dog may respond differently. But the difference is large enough that I notice it immediately, and I think other people are bound to notice it immediately too. And that matters, if someone is smaller or older or recovering from an injury or just doesn't have the physical strength to absorb a sudden pull or pull after pull, it matters a lot. If you are finding this comparison useful, do me a favor and subscribe to Thoughtful Paws. Channels about force-free training for large, strong dogs, and pulling, recall, reactivity, exercise, things like that. No perfection required. So, here's the important training point. I don't want the tool to become the entire solution. I want the tool to create enough control for your dog to learn, for you to be able to train your dog. And sometimes they're pulling so hard you can't do that. So start in a distraction-free area. Start with a short leash. Use high-value treats that really motivate them. The moment your dog turns towards you, mark that with a yes. As soon as they feel the tension and they turn towards you, yes, and then reward them. You're not waiting for a perfect heel. You are rewarding the decision to reconnect with you. And that's part of what these are about, getting them turned back towards you. That is the behavior that eventually creates loose leash walking, okay? The gentle leader may be the better choice if your dog is extremely strong. You need immediate control. Your dog locks on to distractions, to triggers. You're worried about being pulled off balance. You need to reduce a dog's forward power while you're training, okay? For my wife, the gentle leader, it's the only tool. This is all she will use. She wants that immediate control, and I understand why. If a 110-pound dog suddenly moves forward, the difference between controlling the dog and trying to just hold on for dear life, that's a substantial difference. That kind of relief on day one is not just convenient. It can literally be the difference between being able to walk the dog at all, or in some cases even keep your dog. But we still need to introduce it gradually. I would not put it on the first time and immediately walk out into a busy park. There's a learning curve to this. Stay indoors or stay in a quiet area, your backyard. Pair it with treats, okay? Let the dog move comfortably, then build up slowly, okay? There's training instructions in the pamphlet that comes with it. Read it, follow it. The front pull harness may be the better choice if your dog dislikes equipment around the face, and there are a small percentage of dogs who just will not accept a head collar. If you prefer the body control, if you want an everyday walking option that you can also use on a long leash, right? Or maybe your dog's a moderate rather than an extreme puller. Maybe you want to avoid the adjustment period associated with the head collar. I use this most of the time. For most walks, it gives me enough control without putting anything around his muzzle, and I use a long leash a lot. It's also easy to put on, it's easy to understand. I just find it practical for everyday use. But there are situations where I want more. If I go downtown, if we're visiting with someone, if there are more distractions, if there are times where I need him to be well behaved, maybe I'm letting him out in traffic, right? That's where the gentle leader comes in. And so I'm not choosing one product over the other forever. I'm matching the tool to the situation. And I mean, why not have both? Here's the simplest comparison that I think I can give you. The gentle leader head collar. It gives you more immediate control. It's a greater reduction in forward pulling. It's better head redirection away from triggers. I would say it's more leverage with a very strong dog. But it also requires careful fitting. People will look at it and they'll think it's a muzzle. I hate that. It's not a muzzle. He can eat, they're not a muzzle. You need to introduce it gradually. You need to pay more attention to handling. You need to monitor for discomfort. So there's super positives and a few negatives. This harness is more body-based control, so it's nothing around the dog's face. Some people like that. I find it practical every day. I find the dog, he accepted it more easily. It's less reduction in pulling though. And when they lock onto a distraction, they can keep looking at it. More opportunity for a powerful dog to drive forward. So neither of them is perfect. But of all the choices you can make, I would choose one of these two. Which one is better for loose leash walking? I guess if the question is which one will give me the greatest immediate reduction in pulling, it's for Sam, gentle leader. If the question is which do I prefer for most daily walks, I often choose this one, right? I choose the Ruffwear front pull. And it's not a contradiction, right? The gentle leader gives me more control. The harness gives me a more comfortable body-based option that's, I find it easier to use casually. I can use it on a long leash. I don't have to be careful about him hitting the end of a long leash. These are the two products I would seriously consider first over everything else for a large, strong dog who pulls, okay? But I would not choose between them. Certainly not based on online opinions. I would always ask, how strong is the dog? How physically strong is the owner? The best tool is not the one with the best reputation. It's the one that gives you control, right? It's the one that works for you and the one that helps you train effectively. If you're trying to decide between a gentle leader and a front pull harness, drop the question in the comments. I read every comment. Tell me what kind of dog you have. Tell me how strong they are. Tell me what happens on your walks. I will answer all the comments. I'm John. This is Sam. Thoughtful Paws. Thank you and happy training.